lay eyes on you and I heard your heartbeat too. Oh, I never knew I could witness an angel so beautiful. On the very moment you arrived, I felt something new inside. I developed a love that was so unconditional, and I promise to give you everything that I have. There's not a dream in this world you can accomplish or grasp. I will cross in the ocean before I let you land. Just hold on to my hand and never let it go. Just hold on to my hand and never let it go. Just hold on to mama's hand and never let it go.
Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel and smiley face. So right now we are driving along this tea farms on Kiambu Road because we were bored in the house, and I thought instead of doing the story time while we are in the house, let's just take a little drive out so that I tell you my delivery story as we are out here looking at nature. So we are out here smiling, you're smiling. So we are out here looking for a good place to stop so that we can at least sit and I can now tell you the whole delivery story. So I'm not alone because he's driving us. We are seated at the back. Nowadays I have to sit at the back because of this little one here. But you'll see him later on in the video. Yes. So see ya. Hi guys, welcome back again. So
yeah, I'm here.
He's here now.
Finally.
Yeah, so like I had told you before, today I wanted to talk about my delivery story. Then this guy has refused to sleep, so we have to stand here with him. We thought we would sit somewhere and like just chill and do a video while he's asleep, but he has refused to sleep, so we have to stand and do it here while standing. So where to start now? But we're gonna be inserting some clips because we were not able to record the whole thing because of reasons that you will get to know about in between of the video as I tell the story. So where to start? So he's finally asleep, and I can now tell you, I can now start over the story again because I was mixing up things, but now I can now start over again with
your mind is set, right?
With a flow, yeah. So sound.
Yeah?
Sound.
Oh, sound.
So my EDD was on 6th April. It was coinciding with his birthday. But this guy decided
that guy on my birthday.
He came 4 days after the due date, and actually I didn't go into labor before I went to, I didn't get in labor while at home because it was a decision we made. My doctor told me we could wait until 41 weeks, but because I was already on the 40th week. But we thought because of this corona situation, he gave us the option of either waiting, which is still fine, but he also told us it would be better if we got an early induction, because we have better planning because of the corona situation at hand. And you remember if you remember that was the time that it actually really started and it was picking up. And if you can remember, the curfew had been placed just at that time, and there were so many restrictions, and even you couldn't even know what the situation was at the hospital.
And it will be.
Yeah, and now it will be. So we just thought,
so
why not?
we never wanted to take chances. So we thought, let's go with that decision.
With a plan,
with a plan.
And let's just get an early induction. Plus, as much as people say that induction is really painful, I think my mind was already set, plus I was already tired. I just really wanted to give birth and to just get over with the pregnancy because I was tired. Sleeping was a problem. As you all know, the challenges that come up with pregnancy. So I was already tired and I just wanted to deliver and start on with this journey. So we went to the hospital on 10th of April.
10th of April.
Yeah, that was the date we had set with the doctor to go for the induction.
And before even we got to the hospital, I was fearing. I never wanted to see her in labor, like in the house. I never knew how to react on it.
He was super scared more than me. I knew, I had this app set on my phone because we could track like the timings between the contractions.
Yeah.
So we had this app, and within that week we had gotten those several contractions, but it was like still false contractions. It wasn't the real one because they were not consistent in time in terms of timing. So
and I guess we packed even 2 weeks earlier or something.
Yeah, we packed the bags 2 weeks earlier.
I never wanted the last minute rush and all. So
yeah, and the bag was already in the car, literally ready. But the labor didn't come on time and everything. We had a plan for everything. So like we had mentioned before, we were going for an induction. So we are now off to the hospital. He's just calling the doctor to inform him.
Hello. Uko poa? Ndio tunatoka home. Yeah.
So, as you can see, I'm just looking very fine, okay? And wondering why am I talking about going to the hospital when I look this fine. Oops, the bumps. Yeah, so I'm already at 40 weeks, and my doctor just asked me, when we went for the last checkup, he gave me the option of like, if I want to be induced, I can just tell him, or if I want to wait for the time when the labor comes, I can also wait until like 41 is the maximum. Yeah. So with this corona situation, I think we'd rather just go with a plan. So we opted to do the induction. Oops. Sorry. We opted to go early enough so that we can even like just be there on time, just plan ourselves. You all understand how the situation is with corona, so I think going for an induction right now when I'm still okay is better. And he told us there's no much effect and everything will go fine, so we are just praying and hoping that everything also goes fine, and we'll keep you posted.
You don't have words for now.
You don't have words? Yeah, some people have discouraged me from choosing to do the induction and waiting, but I'm like in my head, what if I still wait and I wait for another week and we still end up going for induction? So like, I don't know, it depends with someone's body. So me, I'm all set for it, hoping everything goes well. So we got admitted to hospital on the 10th of April, and wow, that's where the whole many surprises hit me, because I expected that, because we had even packed like a t-shirt for him to change, because we knew we are going to be admitted and he's going to stay. And he's going to stay with me throughout the night as we do this labor thing together after the induction. What?
Shock on us.
Me, shock on us, yeah. As we were signing the papers and filling up everything, then the nurse was like, let's hurry up, let's fill the papers quickly so that we can release him because of the curfew.
Yeah.
But he can get a sign sheet to show that he was in the hospital so that the police don't disturb him along the road.
But in which they still did.
But anyways, so after I heard the nurse saying that, I was just like, oh my God, I'm doing this thing alone.
So I saw her balancing tears.
I cried. I started crying right there.
At that time, you felt like we should go back home.
I felt like we should just go back home and wait. Because now, if he's not allowed to stay back with me, how am I going to manage like this whole labor thing alone? Yeah, so when I started crying, he was like very encouraging, and the nurses were there. So when the nurses saw how I reacted, they were like, don't worry, there's so many nurses here, we're going to go with you through this journey.
We got you. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we called our doctor and told him that we've been admitted and we are already set. Like everything is set, so he can come. He can come in because they told me once we're set, we can call him and tell him when like he can now come in. At around 8 p.m. the doctor came in and he checked on how many centimeters I was dilated. We found out that I was already 3 centimeters dilated, and I was also surprised because I didn't know like it had moved. I thought like I'll just be there blank so that we start over from the induction. So at around 9 p.m. I was induced. The tablet they insert there, if you know. So the first tablet was inserted, and
it didn't work out.
Like I didn't feel anything. I waited. We were just chatting. I video called him. We were talking on phone. And I felt like I was like, wow, is this how labor is going to be?
This is how easy it is.
Yeah, because I wasn't feeling anything totally. Like I was just there.
Hi guys, so right now I'm just admitted here, and I can't believe that I'm gonna be doing this labor thing all alone because of this coronavirus situation. They're not allowing even the spouse to stay back. They only get to allow him to come over during the visiting hours. But I'm just waiting to see how it goes. Maybe tomorrow they can allow him to come in earlier. Like maybe when I'm actually going to deliver. So this corona virus has just messed up things a lot. I don't know if I'll even be able to record like my birth and delivery video, so I'm just waiting to see how things turn out. Right now I'm just in a bad position because I really feel bad that I'm in pain and like I just have to do this all alone. Yeah.
So at around 12 at night, I fell asleep. So I slept, but then at around 7 a.m. that's when I started feeling like cramps, like crampy pain. So breakfast was brought.
Were they mild?
It was very mild, just like it was manageable. I didn't even feel like too much pain or anything. So woke up, took a shower, took breakfast, and then we just started talking again. He even came to the hospital, and from the room I was admitted in, I could look out the window, and that's where he had parked. So I could see him at the parking lot, but he wasn't allowed to come in at that time. Too bad, corona manenos, yani, it messed everything up literally. He couldn't come inside until 3 p.m., 3 or 4 p.m. in the evening.
Around 3.
Yeah, so from between around 10 a.m. till 12. That's when the pain like really kicked in.
King.
It was so painful. My doctor came in at around 11 to check if I was dilated any further. When he checked at that time, I was 5 centimeters. Yeah, I was told I was 5 centimeters dilated. And I kept on waiting. And when the pain increased, the nurses told me I can take a shower, because if I take a hot shower, it will cool down the pain. But at that time, I was like, what if I go to the shower? I was just scared. What if I go to the shower and then something happens? I decided, I can take a shower. So I took a shower and then relaxed. Actually, it helped in calming down the crampy pains a little bit. Then at around 1 p.m., that's when like everything went haywire. Or what should I say? Like everything.
Hell broke loose.
Yeah, the pain at that time. I couldn't sit. I just wanted to walk around. I'm walking around. I can't sit again. I don't want to walk. I want to sit. I
tried
was
to
just
sneak
crazy.
in the hospital, but
It was crazy.
strict.
So he tried to come in. He sneaked in a little. Oh, when the doctor came in again the second time to check, he came in with him, so he was able to come in and see me. That time they tried to break my water, but they said we keep waiting a bit, then they can break the water maybe in an hour's time. So I waited, still in pain, just walking around. The nurses kept on coming to check up on me, but at least I didn't get that trauma of where I normally hear people say that the nurses like come in and keep putting the fingers to check on how many centimeters you're dilated. No, they didn't keep checking on me like that.
Let me check the.
Okay, so they didn't keep on checking like how many centimeters I was dilated. Only during the last hour before delivering is when the nurses now kept on checking, because at that time the doctor was not there yet. And the doctor was not there yet, and he would call and just ask them to check up on me. So yeah, so between 1 p.m. and between 1 p.m. and say around 6 p.m. that was like I was in labor literally. I can say around 8 hours of labor, because it started at around 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
But at least I came in at 3.
Yeah, he came in at around 3 p.m. So he was doing the back rubbing and everything. It wasn't working. Guy, it was crazy. It was so painful. Okay, so when the doctor came in with him at around 1, he checked on me, but they couldn't break my water at that time. They told me to wait for about an hour, then they can break the water at that time. If like it has not naturally like started flowing out. So between 1 and 6 p.m. I was just there in the room. Actually between 1 and 3 I was just there alone. I haven't eaten anything the whole day because I didn't have appetite. I even started vomiting at around 2 p.m. That's when the doctor actually came in again to break the water at around 2 p.m. It was the water flowing out mixed with blood, and I was just seated there in pain, and there's no one to talk to, no one to like just help to relieve me. Like this corona situation just made everything so bad. When I remember that moment, I just feel like crying because I was in so much pain. I was wishing like he could come in. So he's there on video call. We are talking. Why am I starting to cry? We are there talking. And like just looking at.
Do you need a hand?
And no, looking at each other. There's nothing he can do but just talk to me. He's there on video call. The nurses kept coming in. Some nurses would rub my back a bit and then go, because there are still several other patients they're dealing with, so you can't stay there with the nurses. But I have to say that when you're selecting a hospital to give birth, you really have to look at the nursing care, because at that moment I was glad that we chose the hospital that we chose at that time, because the nurses were super amazing.
The nursing care was on point.
Yeah. So they would come, rub my back a bit. The pain was too much. I called my doctor and asked him, what can I get to relieve the pain. He told me there's the option of getting the epidural, or there's some other gas. He told me the option of another gas. I can't remember the name of that gas. So when we looked at the options and the pricing, like getting an epidural was like 46k. We were like, what? No. So I said I will just go naturally. But no, again, after staying about an hour, it was now about 3 p.m. and the pain was too much. I was thinking, I was now looking at the option of getting the epidural, but the doctor gave me another option of getting this gas that would relieve the pain. So they got me this gas, and I would like put it in my mouth and press something and inhale it. So when I inhaled with my mouth and just relax a bit, it would help to calm the pain. And I would feel a bit more relieved. And then so I kept taking that gas from between 3 p.m. to around 5 p.m. So he was allowed to come in at around 3 p.m.
At that time, I knew that if the doctor gives her options, she'll go with the best, because she's in pain and all. And so I told the doctor not to give her any options.
But I kept calling, because I kept calling the doctor, and in the end he just told the nurses to give me that gas. So I was on the point where he came in at around 3 p.m. Between 3 to at least 5 p.m. I was with him. He was rubbing my back. He was there talking to me. He was there consoling me and everything. So I felt a bit better at that time. But I really felt bad that we couldn't go through this journey together as we had envisioned in our mind and planned for it. Like sometimes you plan for things, but they never happen the way you planned for them. I knew I would record my birth and delivery. I would film the whole of my birth and delivery story because I knew he would be there. But at that moment, I couldn't even take my phone to film. I couldn't even he had to talk to me like on phone constantly, because at least by doing that it would at least help to console me, to relieve the pain. Sometimes encouraging words are important, even if someone is not exactly physically there. They get to at least console you. Thank you. They get to console you and everything. So at that time when he was physically present, it felt like the world and it felt like just like everything was now in place, as much as I couldn't film the whole delivery story. I missed like so much memories to keep, because we normally film all these things just to keep good memories for ourselves, and but we couldn't get that memory on record. So the doctor also came in at that time as well to check on how I am and everything. So between now, like once he left at around 6 p.m, so between 6 to 7, like the gas had helped me much. I was not in so much pain, but I was still in pain. And then you see now, like I was bleeding at that time. But when he even got worried when he came in and found that I was bleeding, and he called the doctor to ask him if it's normal and everything, and the doctor said that it's normal as long as the blood is not, I think, dark. He said something like that. I can't remember well.
Actually, there's a point it reached that I felt like, let me ask the second person, because
for a second opinion.
Yeah, for a second opinion. So I spoke with one of the nurses, and she just told me that it's normal. It's just normal. I felt I'm satisfied.
Yeah. So at around 6 again, they came to check me, and then the nurse was like, "Your blood pressure is going low, so I think they need to monitor for the next 1 hour and see if like the blood pressure will still go lower or it will stay constant and everything." So they put those things they put on your stomach, on your like poo, I don't know what they're called. So I was like now bedridden, like sort of bedridden. I couldn't move around. They were now monitoring my heartbeat and my blood pressure and everything at that point. But they told me it's nothing to be alarmed at that point, unless within that 1 hour, if like something goes wrong, it goes much lower within that within that next hour, then that is something to be alarmed about. So we kept waiting, and then I'm like, it's been the whole freaking day, this baby is not coming out. I was just so worried. And then it got to 7 p.m. still in pain. So when it got to 7 p.m., that's when again the pain started being intense, and the contractions were now like, I think literally almost every minute. They were so consistent, and I knew like now we are getting so close to it. And you know, he left the hospital at around 7 p.m. because of the curfew. And on that particular day, I think he didn't have the notice from the hospital, so he had to rush home because of the curfew.
On that particular day, I had to leave the hospital early because the previous night, what happened, because I had the letter from the hospital, but the cops were not easy at me, but everything went on well, and went home. So the following day I never wanted to risk, and I felt like after waiting the whole day and the baby is not coming, so I felt like just go home and relax. Maybe he will come.
He's meant to come the next
morning.
But the way I was so in pain, immediately he left. Then the nurses checked me, and they were like, you're 9 centimeters dilated, you're now about to deliver. When you feel like pooping, don't go to the loo. Just call any nurse you see.
And your doctor?
No, they told me to call the nurse, then the nurse will call the doctor. Yeah. So so I kept waiting and just taking in the gas that I was given, and then they put another drip on me. I think that really intensified the whole process, because after putting that drip on me at around 7 p.m, like everything was now like, that was the most painful thing I've ever felt. It was so painful. You don't even have a position to sit in bed. I remember I was almost screaming. And then the nurses would tell me, don't scream, you're wasting your energy. And I'm there like, you're telling me not to scream, you don't know how I'm feeling. I felt like the screaming would relieve the pain. So they told me they've called my doctor, and he's on the way to the hospital. So I should just relax. And I could see them preparing things up quickly. I don't know what they were doing, so they were just preparing things. When the doctor came in, he told me that Lucy, now it's time to get you to see your baby, to meet your baby. He said, no, it's time to meet your baby. So don't make noise, reserve the energy.
Actually, at that point, the doctor called me and he asked if already left the hospital.
I wish he hadn't left at that time, because he would be allowed to come in at that particular time. But yeah, I think that's how God had planned everything to happen. So at that particular time, the doctor came in, and everything was set, and he told me, like, when the contractions come, I just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I don't make noise, because when I make the noises, because when I scream and make noise, I tend to use up so much energy, rather than saving up the energy to be able to push this baby. So we reserved. So I kept breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. He's crying.
You can continue.
Yeah. So I kept breathing in, breathing out.
Baby.
I kept breathing in, breathing out, and he told me now, like, when I get a contraction, that's when I get to push. And within, like, literally within, I felt like it was just only 5 minutes of pushing, like 3 times. After 3 pushes, I just had a cry.
A video, okay.
It's already recording.
Okay.
the baby was placed on my tummy because I was lying on my back. And that was the most amazing moment. Like, all the pain went away. I didn't feel anything anymore. I was literally like in no pain totally. I can't even imagine how like the pain can. I couldn't even imagine how I have been in pain for almost 5 hours, 5 long hours, only to be relieved in within 5 minutes. Like, all the pain literally went away, and that was the happiest moment in my life, meeting our baby. And I was so happy. I was just looking at him there crying. And then when he was placed, it was then the nurses took him, the pediatrician now took him to check on like the vitals and everything, if the baby is fine. I would see him, he was already like sucking on his finger. It was so funny. I couldn't imagine like how this newborn baby already knows how to suck his finger. Then the doctor was like, they even do that in the stomach. It was just so amazing to see how like all this process went by. And I can say that it was the hardest moment of my life, having to go through all that alone. Like, I couldn't imagine how just something would come and make so many changes within like our systems, like because of the corona situation. Like before, like when we were looking for a hospital where we're going to deliver, we knew, because we had asked if they allow the spouse to come in during that whole labor process, and they said yeah, they allow. The only point they don't allow is when you're having a C-section, is when they have a rule that they don't allow the spouse into the theater. So we knew that like that was fine, because we were looking forward to having a normal delivery, so it was okay. We knew he could come in and be with me during all that process. But corona situation happened and they changed their rules. They couldn't allow visitors, they couldn't allow even the spouse to just get in and stay there with you throughout the process. So they couldn't even allow the spouse, let alone even any other visitor, to come in within that time. So all mothers who were with me at that time during the delivery process, they were not allowing any of their spouses, any of the visitors. Like, it was literally just you and you alone, and the nurses and the doctors. So having to go through all that was so painful. But after all that pain during the day and the babies was here, I completely forgot about everything. I forgot about all the pain. Like, it was such a relieving moment seeing him healthy, born 3.3 kgs, healthy baby boy. And at that point I feel like heaven now. And I was so happy. So yeah, that's how our baby boy came into this world. So maybe soon we're gonna tell you his name, then we're gonna show his face when we are ready. So keep watching. I hope he is going to check on the baby, so I think I'm gonna close out the video alone. Ama, you gonna tell them how your situation was outside? Because he was outside at the parking lot the whole freaking time when I was delivering. He was there with my elder sister. So like, at least they were there keeping each other company. When I looked out of the window, I could see the car parked outside. But I think when they came in when my sister came in and they were there at the parking lot with him, I had been moved from the room where I was admitted to another room, the delivery room. Now I had been moved, so it wasn't facing the outside the parking lot, so I couldn't see them at that point. But yeah, everything went well. We delivered a healthy baby, and we were so happy and grateful to God that the situation did not like we were so happy that the situation didn't turn out to be an emergency C-section, because we were really, really hoping for a normal delivery, and that is what happened. And we thank God for all that. So guys, thank you for watching our birth and delivery story. I'm not such a good storyteller, but I hope I told the story well. So till next time, Bye, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking and commenting and just being part of this family. And till next time.